escape.
It's the My Michelle Live podcast.
My Michelle Live.
Thanks for joining in. This is not just My Michelle Live, it's entertainment review, where we look at movies of the week and even look at some of the films that are going to be new to you this week and some recommendations that you may not want to miss out on. I'm going to be doing it all with my friend and longtime colleague, Adam Holz, getting us plugged into the movies.
I'm pretty cool. Plugging you into the movies. This is Adam Holz.
Hey, Adam, thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Well, before we get into some movies, I wanted to take some time and look at some of the big headlines coming out of the entertainment world.
Entertainment news.
Now, we're going to be looking at some great films, but out of films and out of some of the backdrops of Hollywood comes some really crazy stories. So Johnny Depp, Amber Heard trial is raging on in a showcase of, can I just say, total depravity and breakdown?
No, that is exactly right. I can't think of a better description, and I don't know what happened. I suspect if you said, what do I think happened? I think they both treated each other really badly. I don't know who treated who more worser. I mean, it's just like the whole thing feels like a freak show, and I've mostly tried to ignore it, but I've gotten sucked into some articles because it's like watching a horrible accident and you want to know what happened, you know? And it, like Edgar Allan Poe said, he called it the spirit of perverseness. Why do we want to look at broken, gross, damaged things? But holy cow, you can't look away from it. Or maybe that's too strong. I've gotten sucked in more than once, and then I thought, well, that's 10 minutes of my life I'm never getting back. For what, you know?
But as you and I are reporting on these movies every week for our audience, so they can know what should I see, what shouldn't I see, what's going on out there. And we have shown that in film, things have gotten more depraved. They've taken away more innocence from children's programming, and I think we're kind of seeing why. First of all, the Depp Heard trial shows us that not everything that glitters in Hollywood is gold.
No.
We've also seen, and I'm wondering why we're not seeing as much coverage of the Weinstein proceedings and the subsequent proceedings, because it really shows a continued depravity. Children especially have been victimized. And another news story coming out of Hollywood, and another Academy member, Jeffrey Cooper, who has done behind the scenes type work, is now on trial for allegedly sexually molesting 2 minors in 8 counts that I don't even want to read on the air. They're so horrible. And I do wonder if the depravity in Hollywood is part of the reasons companies like Disney don't see that they're over-sexualizing children and now willingly, purposefully dishing out sexual LGBTQ content. So very, very disturbing stories that are coming out of Hollywood. And that's probably the biggest news story to cover today. Also, people...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you and I have talked about this before. Dealing with entertainment, we talk about sexuality quite a lot. And I think that one of the distortions that happens when you pull God out of your understanding of how things are, we're created, I believe, as a Christian, to have a relationship with God. And part of that is to experience something transcendent. We need to experience something bigger than ourselves. We want to experience beauty. And when you pull God out, I think a lot of people naturally try to substitute sexuality into God's place. And the sexuality that God has created is a beautiful thing in the context of marriage. It's good. And it's a reflection of, being created in his image, male and female. but it's not the entirety of our identity or our existence.
Very
And when you
good.
pull God out of the picture, I think one of the first things that happens is you get tremendous distortion of our sexuality, and we get people looking for meaning there that it actually can't provide. And then things get really messed up. So that's my little spiel on that. And I think that relates to what's happening culturally.
Yeah, this is a place that we cover. It's an issue we cover continuously, and you got it right on there. What is happening has to do with how we look at God. What is our worldview? I think we've also opened the door for alternative voices to finally be heard. People have had enough. Another news story, Dinesh D'Souza has, if you recall his film 2,000 Mules.
Yeah.
Yeah, grossed over 1 million on Rumble in the first 12 hours. What does that say about what people are looking for? That people really want to hear some of the alternative, we might call them, voices out there that have been willfully cut down. So big stories there. Another news story, Adam, People magazine maybe calling it quits. Other print magazines are facing closure because of some of the chaos in the newsroom, some of the issues that we talk about almost on a weekly basis, how the very things that you mentioned, how we are going in the wrong direction. We have news that is left on the cutting room floor because it's spiritually incorrect or politically incorrect, because people have just had it. And some people aren't and of course print magazine, we're getting our news online as well. So big change-ups that are happening. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think that we continue to be a people who, all the research shows that screen time usage is at an all-time high and somehow continues to go up. I spent 7 years working for a magazine. I love magazines. I don't read magazines like I used to, of any kind. I don't buy them. It has to be something super compelling to make me actually purchase a magazine. And so I think with people, you've got an internet full of gossip. What do we need People magazine for? I don't need it. And actually I never needed it in the first place, but
Touché.
It's not surprising to me.
Well, another story I wanted to cover, we hadn't talked about in past weeks, actress Ashley Judd encouraged people to seek help for mental health. She and her sister Winona very openly shared their faith, unapologetically, because that's what they're pulling on as they celebrate the life of their mother, Naomi Judd. Now, Naomi Judd, a country music singer, took her life. She had struggled immensely with depression, mental health issues, and this was on the eve of her being inducted in the Country Music Hall of Fame. It just showed the inner struggle that she had. She took her own life using a handgun, from what I understand. But that wasn't where they wanted to linger. They wanted to linger on getting help for mental health and putting their faith in a God who loves them, who comforts them. And I thought I would show just a few moments of Ashley speaking about her mom.
Stardom. And the result is that we are here tonight, remembering an icon and a legend who left country music better than she found it. Since the 30th of April, we have been remembering the complex and dynamic life of our mother in story. She was every woman. Perhaps this is why everyone felt they knew her. She was a nurse. She was a single mom who sometimes relied on public assistance. She was traumatized by early childhood sexual abuse, intimate partner violence, and rape, and she was fired by a boss when she refused to go away with him for a weekend.
Now, I wanted to stop there. She goes on to some of the great things about Naomi Judd and the beautiful person that she is, and both she and her sister, who performed an amazing song, are very vocal about where they find their strength and where Naomi was able to find strength even after all of the abuse that she experienced. And this ties into what we were talking about. We're talking about the depravity of Hollywood, the depravity of sometimes the entertainment business, and really the depravity of man, and the loss of innocence of childhood in issues like this where she was abused, and what that lingering effects that has. And there really is very little hope outside of finding healing and a hope beyond this world for many people. So my love to the family there. And as we look at some beyond news, some of the movies that are out this weekend, I wanted to take what we just said into a trailer for a movie that is coming out this weekend. It's the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, this is very subtle, comes at the very beginning, but to me, it is indicative of what we were just talking about. So take a little watch and see what you have to say.
What's the first thing that pops into your head when I say Chip and Dale? I bet it's these guys! But certainly the second would be those rascally cartoon chipmunks, Chip and Dale.
Wait, what? Now, we can watch more of the trailer if you want. It's part cartoon, part live action. But is this indicative of what we're going to expect with Chip and Dale?
You know, that is probably the worst thing in the movie, honestly. So it
but does it did
that,
we need
that reference was the one that made me, face palm just a little bit.
Did we need that?
Yeah, there are a number of places where it has a very winking, kind of joking, message to parents, not to kids, because kids have no frame of reference to understand the joke, obviously. This was a movie that is actually a pretty sweet movie about friendship. Do you want to play the rest of the trailer?
Yeah, let's take a little look at the rest. And because according to Adam, it gets better from here.
It gets better.
What if I did something like...
I am into nuts.
Good, I love it.
Great stuff.
Just want to remind you guys I'll be at FanCon this afternoon. Hey, watch out! I'm keeping myself fit and, my updated modern look.
Don't you think you'd have more fans here if Chip did these events with you?
I hadn't thought about him in a while. I should give him a call. See how life's treating him.
Life is the worst, which is why you need good insurance. A message on my landline. I don't like that.
I know you're still mad about Rescue Rangers getting canceled, but I've just got a call from the police, and I need your help.
I searched the perimeter. No clues.
Why would there be? 6 missing tunes in a month and not one clue.
Oh, no!
Chip!
Dale, you look different.
It's no secret I had the CGI surgery. What's been up with you?
You know, this, that, other vague things to fill the space of this conversation.
Cool.
We can see what we can find out and then pass it along to the officer. That's all we're gonna do.
So you're saying the Rescue Rangers are back?
Oh my gosh, CGI. I had the CGI surgery. I love that. That's adorable.
So it's pretty funny. There are a lot of things that parents will laugh at that are not necessarily inappropriate or out of bounds, but definitely even the CGI joke, I'm not sure kids are going to get it, that it's a reference to plastic surgery. They really send up Hollywood culture pretty hard. There are these two guys that were in this successful show 30 years ago, and now they can't stand each other, but they need each other. So this is really a story about friendship. They have a friend who's in trouble because he has a cheese habit. He's eating too much cheese. Cheese is obviously, standing in for drugs, but they have to go rescue him. It's not perfect. There's actually enough mild content here that I wouldn't take super little kids without reading our full review first, just so you know what you're getting into. But it's a pretty sweet movie and not one that we left saying, oh, that was the most annoying thing I've ever seen.
Because, you didn't know. I wouldn't have known. Honestly, Adam, the cheese reference, I really like that. It's an issue in our day, and to take on issues. For example, spending years in children's ministry and creating almost a Sesame Street-like puppet ministry and writing content, you're trying to deal with real-life issues that kids may see, may be aware of, or may not be aware of, or may become aware of, and to do it in a pure way, even a fun or funny way, but still helping them to have an implant of hope to deal with the issues of the day. I thought that was just adorable. Yeah. So it was actually a pleasant surprise. And my coworker, Paul Acey, who did our review, he said it was one of his favorite movies this year. Wow. And I'm like, really? I'm not sure if serious. But it's a sweet movie. I don't know that it had me laughing out loud at just the trailer, so that's pretty good. Exactly. Another film that is out that many people look forward to, because those period pieces, everybody's into. I love period pieces, and I've only seen some of the first season of Downton Abbey because, I didn't want to get sucked in, but that's where I'm asking for people who haven't seen the entire series. Is the movie just a continuation? Do you have to have seen the series, or is it a one-off that I could say, okay, I haven't seen it, let me see if I might like this, so I might want to get hooked? Well, I mean, I think it's self-contained enough that you don't have to be the expert. I think that the draw with something like this is that anything that has 6 seasons of history, the more you know about the characters, the more you get all the inside jokes and all of the references and all of the throwbacks. But obviously this is about a beautiful British estate and all of the various noble and maybe not so noble characters who interact there. This time around, they need a new roof, which seems like a very strange plot point. And one of the younger people there, relatively speaking, I mean, she's still probably 50, says, hey, and this is we're up to 1932 by now. She says, why don't we get a Hollywood movie to film here, and we can pay for the roof that way? And so it gets a little bit meta, and Downton Abbey is always sort of about the tension between the tradition and the beauty of the past and the reality that we're moving into the future. So why don't we watch the trailer?
Have you told them, Lady Grantham?
She's told us nothing.
Do sit down. I've come into possession of a villa in the south of France.
What villa? Start at the beginning.
Years ago, before you were born, I met a man.
They spend a few days together, and he gives her a house.
You never thought to turn it down?
Do I look as if I'd turned down a villa in the south of France?
Would I? No.
A telephone call for you, my lord.
Mr. Barber is a producer and director.
He wants to make a film at Downton.
A moving picture at Downton.
Would there be film stars, famous ones?
I think it's a horrible idea. Actresses plastered in makeup and actors just plastered.
There is something about him, like a wild animal ready to spring.
Ready to spring on you, you mean?
Action!
Cut!
Sorry.
The modern world comes to Downton.
Well, there you go. The modern world comes to Downton.
The other subplot is whether the matriarch of the clan had an illicit affair with this man who gives her the villa in France. And so there's this whole huge subplot unpacking that as well. I don't think you need to have seen it. If you appreciate Downton Abbey, it's comfort food, right? It's more of the same. It's, all of these characters. And I mean, who doesn't want to just watch Maggie Smith chew a scene up? I mean, it's just, she's delightful. She is
delicious. She's just delicious as an actress. So if you know Downton Abbey, if you call it Downtown Abbey, this is not for you. Boom. There you go.
Right. No, I like to call it Downtown Abbey just to get a response from people who aren't sure if I'm serious or not.
I love it. One more film that we can take a look at right quick is A Perfect Pairing, and it seems to be a pairing of Netflix and Hallmark-esque kind of films. Yep. Would you like to look at the trailer?
Oh, I would love
to see Lola Alvarez running her own show with her own wine import company.
You know, it's no secret you're not the most warm and fuzzy boss, Calder.
May I remind you, this is a place of business, not a Chuck E. Cheese.
What are you doing? Oh, isn't it obvious? I'm quitting.
In one of your own company, you're already crushing it?
With my savings on the line, I really need a big account ASAP. I need Vaughn Family Wines.
Australia? That sounds kind of far.
Oh! Hi.
Can I help you find something?
All right, so I think I've seen enough and I know the plot, right?
You do.
I've been down this road
have
before.
A plucky young woman goes to Australia to start her wine company, falls in love with that guy, who, of course, it's never that easy, right? Like, literally, when my family watches a Hallmark movie, I will look at the clock and I'm like, all right, it's 8:42. That means we have exactly 13 minutes before the kiss at the end, right? I mean, it's so formulaic. The only difference here is that it's on Netflix, so you have a little bit of profanity, you have a little bit more sensual material. Like, if you've ever watched Hallmark and just thought, I just wish this was a little bit naughtier, this is for you, I guess. But not like really. I mean, it's a degree more, you know, there's a little bit more reality, except there's no reality at all here.
Thank you.
This doesn't happen.
Thank you. Yeah.
To anybody.
Do you know, that leads me to another Netflix series that, as I had just way too much fun traveling to the British Virgin Islands. I got home, family visited. My birthday happened. I've been going nonstop. Okay. And so I had some downtime. We'll just say, we'll just put it that way. I had some downtime and I binge watched something that I thought, well, I could sleep through if I need to, if you know what I mean. You probably had those times. And it was a program on Netflix called Sweet Magnolias. Sweet Magnolias is the story of a small town, 3 lifelong friends that kind of go into business together. They have to deal with divorce, infidelity, healing of marriages, raising children, and so many differing things. I did really surprisingly enjoy it. We'll watch a second here.
So, Serenity's cutest couple is back on track?
What I'm looking forward to is the morning I can wake up with you in my arms.
Is something going on with you two that I should know about?
When did you two become a pair of hovering Hannahs?
How do you feel about them fighting over you?
Excited.
Maddie, Dana Sue, my sisters.
You haven't even...
Well, without seeing it, you don't necessarily understand the ins and outs of the small towns and the issues that these ladies are dealing with. Now,
or maybe you do.
I'm sorry?
Or maybe you do.
Maybe you do. Maybe you do.
I feel like that just gave me everything again,
you needed to know.
It sets it all up, right? It's about love and friendship.
It is indeed, but and there are disturbing things there, you know, things that people have to navigate, same-sex couple relationships, having a baby outside of marriage, people that have gotten cheated on. But what I wanted to say about this is what was a big surprise is the centralization of the church, the idea of praying on something or praying for each other, praying in Jesus' name, literally, on television. It was like, what? You do that?
Wow.
Well, this is the South. It still happens there, believe it or not.
Right.
And that I really did enjoy. These are some of the realities that people do deal with. And watching people deal with it, uphold each other, try to make the better choices, seeking forgiveness, talking about repentance, infusing scripture into your daily life, even when you're not always getting it right. I found that to be quite refreshing. So it's
great.
Something for adults. I don't know that I would recommend younger children watching, but they're very careful to stay away from the nudity, over sexualization. And I really appreciated Sweet Magnolias. Looking forward to season 3 in 2023.
Well, my wife and I just got done watching Cobra Kai season 4, which actually came out like a while ago.
Oh,
so we were just getting to it. And it's just fun. It's not for kids. There's enough profanity and occasional bad behavior that not a kid's show, but man, as a child of the 80s, just the continual send up of all of the 80s stuff and characters that you really like. That's
it's
the most
hokey,
recent thing.
it's
Other than, of
kitschy.
course, we watch One Calls the Heart every Sunday night at 6
Yes.
o'clock.
And
like
you
it was
can't hardly go
1975.
wrong there. You can't go wrong there. Cobra Kai, it's kitschy and campy. I stopped watching. There's some places where it crossed the line for me with kids' sexuality in high school that I thought absolutely not. It was just like, that really gets me. I have a problem with us over sexualizing our kids.
Sure.
And that's what's cool, and that's what the cool kids do. I mean, not to say it wasn't a problem way back in the dark ages of the black and white era that, we almost came out of, but why do we have to glamorize something that can be so destructive? So there you go. Do you have a pick for the week?
That is a great question.
I love that great question. That's why I make the bucks for.
No, I don't. Do you have a pick for the week?
Well, I can tell you what, again, Sweet Magnolias, as an adult, it's very sweet. Again, that's why it's in that title. You may want to just take a little look at that, and maybe you too will enjoy it. So that's what I am thinking next week. Anything that we can look forward
we got
to?
stuff coming out. So Top Gun, which the advance spoiler, it comes out next Tuesday. So we could talk about it because we've seen it. It's everything you want a Top Gun sequel to be. And it's got a bit of profanity, but man, by 2022 standards, not too many content problems. And then next Friday, we haven't seen them yet, but we've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi show coming out and Stranger Things season 4. I lose track. So some big stuff coming next week.
Excellent. Well, as we go out, we're going to watch some of the trailer to Top Gun, and we will be talking about that next week. So maybe in this case, since it does come out Tuesday, I'm going to ask you as our audience to help us with the review. If you see it on Tuesday, email me, text me, just comment, send me a message. Let me know what your thoughts are and what you think, and we'll include you in our review. Adam, thanks for hanging out with me today. It is always a pleasure. When you are watching, listening, or viewing, make sure you take time to go to pluggedin.com. Plugged In will get you plugged into movies, books, video games, YouTube channels, pop culture right there to help you to navigate for you and your family so you can make right choices, good choices that align with a good worldview. The only worldview that has consistency, and that's a biblical worldview. Thanks for watching. Comment, share, please. Help us to grow and get the God story out there. It's what we do. Adam, God bless. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
More entertainment at mymichellelive.com.